We live in Brooklyn, baby. We live in Brooklyn, baby.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Insanity check back at you here. Ken and Skillet Sauce. It is, what are we in May now? May 3rd.
Yep.
Ugliness is taking place, people. Us as NFL fans bow our heads and mourn the loss of one of the best linebackers of his era, Junior Seau.
Yeah.
Blew himself away.
Actually, he just shot himself in the chest.
Well, you could be blown away in the chest.
Using one of them turkey killers or something like that, a big bison gun.
Just got to go through the heart, man. Just got to go through the heart. Anyway, Junior was a linebacker for the San Diego Chargers. Can we get that picture up, Junior? And he retired in 2009, I believe, so it was about 3 years ago. This happened yesterday, so
he retired in 2009. Did he come back for the 2010 season? Did he get back on the Patriots?
I think something like that.
Something like that. But but basically he retired. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, everyone's still speculating what's going on. The initial thought was that he might have post-concussion syndrome, which has been plaguing the NFL in more ways than one, mainly because, again, he shot himself in the chest. It was initially thought to be a suicide, but people don't usually shoot themselves in the chest when it's a suicide. However, another NFL player, Dave Burson, who should be on your screen, he played for the Chicago Bears. His team,
that's right.
85 Bears, one of the roughest, if not the roughest.
The best defense in NFL history.
Perhaps
the best, the 46, Buddy Ryan, best defense in NFL history, period.
And Dave definitely suffered from post-concussion syndrome. He was completely a mess, and he left a message. Either was he wrote it or he texted his family that he was going to kill himself, and he shot himself in the chest so that they can study his brain to try and figure out this whole concussion syndrome. And basically, if this is what Junior Seau did, it's NFL as we know it is over with, because right now they have been embroiled in a legal battle with former NFL players who also have these concussion syndrome and other injuries. And basically, this is why the NFL has been cracking down on hits and what they consider rough hits, late hits, too high hits, too low hits, too hard hits, blah, 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 blah. They, of course, are saying that this is because they care about the players. That's
a crock of
That's
shit.
bullshit.
I mean,
that's absolute bullshit. The NFL was taken to court twice, not once, but twice, by a group of people who were trying to inform them that these former players were having these issues. And the first time, they completely ignored it. They're like, "We don't know what you're talking about. Our doctors don't tell us this."
It wasn't me. They did the Shaggy. It wasn't me.
It wasn't. It was nuts.
We don't know what to talk about.
You know, the second time they came with more evidence, years of evidence and studies, and then finally the NFL was like, "Oh shit, I guess we better do something."
Yeah.
So this lie that Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, is telling everyone that, you know, they're doing all of this stuff because they care about the players, it's bullshit. These players are prepared and are on the forefront of a massive lawsuit to cost, of course, the NFL millions of dollars, which that is what they care about. They don't care about players. They don't care about fan safety. They don't care about the little kids who might be crying when the player goes down and he's trembling in the no. Money. It's all about the money. And now they're willing to do something. They have to do something. And yes, go ahead.
And I was just saying, they're scrambling literally like a dog trying to chase his tail, because there is no way, the very way in which the league is promoted, even still till this day, they still, you know, show hard hits, all of these different things like that. It's a contact sport where the men that volunteer, or no, excuse me, not even volunteer, the men that strive to actually reach this and attain this professional level, they know what they're getting into. They know that they're going to get hit. They know that they're going to obviously get hit in the head and bumps and a whole bunch of other things like that. And so these guys are literally like scrambling to try and sanitize the sport. But in essence, they can't sanitize the sport because then it won't be football. These guys are completely fucked. And what they had better really is that Seau just maybe was a bad shot, or he slipped and was going to shoot himself in the head and shot himself in the chest. Because if it's the same Dorson situation all over again, and he has some sort of concussion syndrome or something like that, then the league is finished. The league will no longer be able to operate, or they're going to have to sign some sort of like ironclad waiver, like when you go skydiving, and they make you sign that waiver, like, look,
which I did, by the way.
Yeah, he actually
signed my 3 sheets, basically saying if the guy I was strapped to, my instructor, if we jumped out of a plane where he had a bottle of Jack Daniels in his hand and a pistol about to shoot me in the back of the head, I could not sue. My family couldn't sue. The state couldn't sue. No one could sue. But yeah, it'll have to be something like that.
Something along those lines, because there's no other way. And I mean, there's nothing else that they can possibly do. I mean, because first of all, the hypocrisy of this entire situation, you know, outside of the say out thing, and then with the, you know, these penalties that have come down on the Saints themselves is absolutely ludicrous. Because what you have to understand is, and this is, you know, I tend to watch certain sports shows and things like that, and I'm just totally disgusted with all of it, because everyone has an agenda. They never really get to the core of the matter. The whole bounty system, and for you people that don't understand or don't know what that is, the Saints players allegedly had bounties, monetary incentives to go out and do a lot of damage on the field within the rules. And that's the main thing, within the rules. So if you would maybe dog 1 or 2 plays, the monetary incentive would be to not dog that play and to hit this person as hard as you possibly could within the rules. And to show you that this is a bunch of baloney, because this Nazi Goodell fired what's his face? Well,
he didn't fire.
For suspending him for a year.
Sean Payton, the head coach of the Saints, he's suspended for a year. Was it a defensive coordinator, I believe?
Yes.
I forgot his name. He's gone indefinitely. Basically, they kicked him out of the league until Goodell, you know, has a few grapes and figs and ponders whether he's willing to let the guy back into the league.
Yeah. But the player.
Jonathan Vilma.
Jonathan Vilma. Okay, now
former Jet, by the way.
Yeah, well, I don't give a damn about Jonathan Vilma is out for a year, okay, for essentially following orders and still in all obeying the rules, because the hits that were in question was against Kurt Warner and Brett Favre. Now, no flag was thrown on the field, and upon further review that preceding week, the league didn't see any reason to fine them then. Now, this is a common practice, because Porter on the Steelers, well, he's giving people certain hits that were not flagged during the game, but then they review it during the week, and he would get $5,000 fines because they saw something that they were like, well, the referee missed the call, so we're going to pick up the mantle for the referee. In these cases with Vilma, they looked at the footage and was like, oh, well, nothing was wrong. So I beg this question. If someone told you, hey, we're going to give you extra money, all right, to drive 45 miles per hour in a 35 mile per hour zone, and you take the money and then drive exactly 35 miles per hour, whether you took the money to drive 45 or not, you did not do it. So how can this man be suspended for a year when he actually didn't break a rule? First of all, this is a contact sport, and it should be commended if a person drives with all of his force, if that's his position, as hard as he can.
Screw commended. It's taught. Yeah. You are taught to do this.
You used to play.
I played high school football. And for our coach.
For the engineers, right?
Yeah, for the Brooklyn Tech.
Brooklyn Tech engineers. See, he's real Brooklyn.
Yeah, that damn straight.
That's right.
Yeah, what should we play for the Bronx people? Because the
sound
flames,
of burning, the sound of burning,
screaming children,
the sound of asbestos hitting the side of a building.
But I played, and our coach handed out stickers. We got that you could put on your helmets. If you watch college ball, I used to see this all the time. I had no idea what it was for. Stickers all over these helmets. You got stickers for touchdowns. You got stickers for 100-yard games, and you got skull and crossbones for knocking someone out of the game.
Yeah.
Our coach didn't tell us to blind anyone. Our coach didn't tell us to paralyze anyone. Our coach didn't tell us to knock out my teeth. Take them out of the game with a nice, legal, hard-ass hit. High school.
Yeah.
You think this is not this? You think Brooklyn is the only place where this happens? This happens all over the country. For all these players who were on TV and like, oh yeah, we never heard of bounties, but then you have a bunch of other players like, yeah, this goes on all the time.
It's been going on.
Who are we supposed to believe? I'm telling you right now, my coach told me to knock someone the fuck out of the game, off the field.
And there was an NFL film way back in the day with Fred the Hammer Williamson, who went on to be one of the main blaxploitation stars. But he was I believe he was an Atlanta Falcon. And I remember a play, you know, with old NFL films. You know, the guys on the sideline was cheering because it was like, yo, who's that out of the game? Who got knocked out? And it was like, oh shit, it's the Hammer. It's the Hammer. He got knocked out. And literally, they were dragging Fred the Hammer off the field. His toes was digging into the turf. He was unconscious. But it was within the rules of the game. It's like a hockey check. If someone gives somebody a hockey check where that player is actually looking, he can see he's not getting blindsided, and you dig your shoulder into the middle of his chest, and he happens to do a backflip and is knocked out of the game, too bad. Yeah, literally, too bad. There's nothing you can do because it is a contact sport.
Now, again, we're not monsters. No. You know, do we want to see, you know, people blowing themselves away because they can't take the pain or they can't remember their fucking child's name? Yeah. Of course not.
No.
But this goes back to what I said a couple of shows ago. We have a satellite over Mercury. And yes, I don't care if the Mercurians like it or not.
Exactly. The Mercurians, you know.
Why can't we get the technology to at least minimize trauma that's going on in this sport?
I personally don't think there's much that they can do, seriously, unless they find some sort of like material made out of like that vibranium made out of Captain America, which somehow takes all of the force and disperses it evenly throughout the helmet. You're going to have brain injuries because it's like throwing a penny into a large jar. That penny is going to rattle around, and there's not much you can do. That's why this is sports to where you just have to know that men are fully aware of the risks that they take. It's just like boxing. If a guy gives you a 1-2 punch and you happen to suffer an injury, you know what you signed on to. Now, if you're hung up in the ropes and the referee is like, fuck it, kill him, and the guy's just beating the dude to death, that's a whole different story. If you load your gloves with plaster, it's a different story. But if you just get a combination 1-2 and something bad happens to you, there's not much that you can say, you know, the risks that are taken. And to me, the sport is being destroyed to the point to where if this, like I said, if this comes out that Seau did this because he too suffered from these post-concussion syndrome symptoms, then the sport, they're just gonna have to change the sport.
Yeah, it's just done.
Because you can't operate. See, there'll be more injuries happening if you are not playing up to your full capability. That's why they're planning on getting rid of the
kickoff.
Not the kickoff. The Pro Bowl.
That
shit is suspended for this next year.
Yeah, no more Pro Bowl.
Because you can't play half-ass with pads on and hope that, you know, more injuries can happen that way. Yeah. You know, because you're not tensed, you're not braced. So this is a situation where, you know, Goodell should just either come out and tell it. Well, he's not going to tell the truth.
He's
the guy's
a
a businessman.
He says, shit, Goodell, I don't like you. Yeah, and I hope someone checks you in the back and knocks you on your fucking skull.
Yeah, he's just whatever.
I feel better now. Okay, time for a break, and we will be back in 2.
Yep.